Hello world of the internet, it's Bear here, and I'm sorry y'all, I've been a little behind on my Dancing with the Stars reactions, but now I'm catching up. Here are my reactions to weeks 8 and 9. Be Ryan and Cheryl. They had their tango. Now I'm going to do week 8 is Halloween night. It seemed to me like he was doing all the steps relatively well, but at times he just didn't have the passion and the strength. You know, with the tango, you gotta be. He just kind of hit his moves. He was kind of marking, as you'd say. So he got 7, 8, 8. It's pretty good. I mean, considering it's week 8, they have to score you a little higher. If it were a few weeks before, he may have gotten all 7s. Then for the dance-off, sometimes they do a dance-off. And now how that worked was the couple's names were on the back, and the people were voting at home, and there was a line under the two names. They're dancing side by side, and then there's a line showing like one color is one couple, one color is another couple. And it kept moving back and forth based on who had more votes. Ryan, he danced off against Mary Lou. Now, I felt like Cheryl did a lot more dancing than Ryan in the cha-cha. There was a lot of sexual nonsense, but it really got the crowd going. There really wasn't that much cha-cha. And what there was of the cha-cha wasn't very good. It was pretty messy. But they won. I mean, I thought Mary Lou and Derek had a much better technique. They were really hitting their points. They were actually doing a lot more cha-cha. But somehow, Ryan got the votes. And the judges' votes. So, I don't know how that happened. They got eliminated Halloween tonight. It was time, you know. They're going to get the votes, but they're really not that good. Well, I didn't show y'all my Deadpool shirt. Oh yeah, my Deadpool hat. People think I look ridiculous with that hat on, but I don't care. I like looking ridiculous. So anyway, I'll move on to Mary Lou and Derek. Their Argentine tango for Halloween night. Derek made it really difficult on her. There were lots of lifts. She's a 64-year-old woman, and it wasn't feeling right. She lost her balance several times. Her placement during the lifts just wasn't right. It had a flow to it, but it just got a little off sometimes, I felt like. But still, considering she is 64, she's done an amazing job on this show. The fact that she can do those lifts, even if they're a little off, is incredible. So, they got 7, 8, 8, which I thought was pretty fair. Showstoppers night. I didn't tell y'all, we had Idina Menzel guest judging. If y'all don't know who she is, she's done a lot of Broadway shows. But she's perhaps most famous for the big, incredible movie that everybody loves, Frozen. Mary Lou did a samba. Mark Pallis showed up. He had to take this season off. He's been on the show since I was like 9. Anyway, he couldn't come on this season because he's in Jersey Boys on Broadway. So for Showstoppers night, Derek and Mark are like brothers. And Derek asked Mark to come and sing for them. So they dance a samba. It's much, much better than she had been doing. There were still a few moments there of uncertainty. She was just a little off of Derek. Like, Derek gives so much energy sometimes, I feel like it's hard for her to keep up with him. But it was still a lot better than she had been doing. They got all 9s, which I could have seen some 8s. But overall, that was really good for her. Now, she left week 9. You know how it goes. She wasn't doing great. I feel like it was a time. For the duets, they did duets on Showstoppers night. She danced a Charleston with Tara and Sasha. Now, this was very high energy, really fun to watch. They were dancing on the tables. It was pretty clean. Excuse me, it wasn't a Charleston. It was a jazz. It was high energy. There was a lot of stuff going on, which kind of distracted from the two of them. But still, they had a lot of charisma. It wasn't super sharp and super clean, But it was still a lot of fun. It was really good dance. It got all 9s, which I thought was pretty spot on. Tara and Sasha did. They did a cha-cha. It was some weird, like, chanting song. But that kind of worked for Tara. She did crazy on all the weird, dramatic part. Her facial expressions were spot on. It was great. I mean, it wasn't the cleanest she's ever done, but it was still really, really good. I think the judges were very harsh on her. She got all 8s. That was at least all 9s. I really don't understand it. But, of course, I'm not a professional ballroom dancer. Tara and Jana did a salsa dance-off for Halloween night. One couple picked the couple, and one couple picked the style. Tara picked the salsa, even though she had never done a salsa. She had a lot of energy. She was really moving her legs real good. Well, that sounds kind of dirty. You could tell she needed a little bit more practice. It felt like they were kind of milking it when Sasha was just walking in a circle and throwing Tara around. It was kind of weird. She lost, but she did a pretty good job. And then they did a Charleston on week 9. Really high energy, really fun to watch. Occasionally, it did feel like she wasn't able to go as big with the footwork as Sasha was able to. I mean, she's a little person. She did the absolute best she could do, though. They got 2 10s and 2 9s. Jenna and Gleb, their jazz dance, they did it to Little Shop of Horrors. Gleb was brilliant with the choreography. Incorporated some jive with it and some kind of jumping around. Whatever it was brilliant. The judges said, well, see, Jenna did a jive early on in the competition, so it wasn't that great. But she improved a lot on the jive. I agree, it could have been a little more good. The kicks and the flicks, but it was pretty good. She got all 9s. I could have seen a 10 in there, but I guess they thought the jive was just almost there, but not quite. Then she, of course, did the salsa dance-off against Tara. She was very, very clean. Her movement, it looked like a professional was out there. She won, obviously. My hat's a little to the side. Okay, straight. I'm OCD like that. But and she did a waltz that was based off of the musical Waitress. It was absolutely beautiful. It kind of showed her strength. She's gone through a lot of stuff. It was emotional. And her movements were so flowing and clean. And it was great, great dance. She got all 10s, of course, for that one. She and Laurie did a contemporary. Wow. It was to the song I Don't Want to Die. It seemed like it was about facing their evils in life. They started in a cage, and then they came out, and Gleb and Val were dressed in black, and they were fighting them, but it was all through dance. It was strong, it was passionate, it was emotional, it was in sync, some great lifts. They got all 10s, that was great. And then Laurie, she did a great Viennese waltz to Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory. She was able to flow really, really well. It was pure imagination. And it was funny, they had a girl playing Charlie, but Val was Willy Wonka. It didn't really look like Willy Wonka, but it was still really, really good. It captured that feel of just joy and imagination and really fantastic. She's really grown into quite the dancer. I mean, she was good to begin with, but now she's become great. She had her jive dance-off between her and Calvin. Wow. Like, her jive week 2 was good. This was, like, spot on, fantastic. She was hitting the kicks like you wouldn't imagine. It looked like pro level. She had a lot of charisma. It was to one night, one horse, line, purple people eat. She won. Then her Argentine tango from Chicago was fantastic. It was the jail cell one. It's kind of hard to describe, but you could just look at it like, wow, that's like super clean, super passionate. I don't know how she does it. She's 16, and that just looked like Broadway. It was like, your eyes were like, oh. Everybody was scared she wouldn't be sexy enough. She got the sexy on. That sounds really dirty. Anyway, she got all 10s. She's really getting all 10s a lot lately. So Calvin did a quick step to a song called Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones, Dr. Bones. Anyway, they were dressed as skeletons, and it was really cool. On the stage, somehow they had skeletons playing instruments. They're pretty sharp, pretty clean. Their holds are a little bit awkward, probably because he has to reach down so far to get to Lindsay because of the height difference. It looked like there could have been a few mess-ups, but it was really hard to tell in the dark. That could have been a strategy. Even if there were a few mess-ups, really clean, really good. Lots of fun to watch. It got all 10s. I could have seen a few 9s, but yeah, all 10s is good. Then in their dance-off, he absolutely had the energy, the commitment, the fun factor he always brings. But his timing was a little off. He had a jive like a week before that, and he was a little bit off time. The kicks and the flicks were a little messier. Maybe he hadn't practiced it much, or maybe he didn't practice it much to that song. Even so, he was really fun to watch. But he lost to another couple he might have won. To Mary Lou, I'm sure he would have won. Or Ryan, yeah, he would have won. Then he danced the waltz to the musical Cats. Everybody loves Cats, but they didn't have the cat makeup on. This seemed a lot cleaner than their quick step. Gave a really pleasant feeling. The body was just, flowing so nicely. It just gave you a really pleasant feeling to watch. The shaping was fantastic. How the images they made, I thought it was perfect. But apparently some of the judges saw something I didn't. He got 3 9s and a 10. The 10 being from Julianne. So Julianne's like me. She didn't see it. James and Calvin's Paso Doble. This dance was really good. Calvin was the police and James was the outlaw. It was really funny. It was a little weird for a Paso Doble, but I mean their technique was great. These are two really, really strong male dancers, and they really did a great job. James danced with Jenna these 2 weeks because Shauna hurt her knee, unfortunately. Oh, that got all 9. So James danced the Venus Waltz to don't tell me what to do, and don't tell me what to say. Anyway, it was a great song. They were dressed as Harley and Harvey Quinn. If you don't know who they are, go see the Suicide Squad movie, though I wouldn't recommend that because it wasn't very good. But this dance was fantastic. Carrie Ann said that James reminded her of Mark Ballas, which is the ultimate compliment. It just swayed and it flowed and it was super sharp. She was able to do it even without Shauna. You're just like, wow. Fantastic technique for Venus Waltz. And I don't know a lot of the specifics. I just know when it works, it worked. And of course, they got all 10s, meaning they were immune from the dance-off because they had the highest average for the whole season. Even though they tied with Calvin and Laurie, they didn't have to be in the dance-off. And meaning they were automatically safe week 8. It's their jazz dance to The Wiz on week 9. It was a really good concept, which I don't understand why they're having white people in The Wiz. I'm sorry, it's supposed to be an all-black play, but please don't take that as racist. That's just how it was originally intended. But I mean, it worked. Just felt like Wizard of Oz. It worked. It was really cool. He kept coming up to a character who was played by a troupe member, and it was cute interactions, really good dancing. It felt like Broadway, except for this one little part. He got off timing, and it was evident because he had 3 pro dancers dancing around him. If it just weren't for that part, it probably would have been a 10. It got all 9s. He ended up at the bottom, but he didn't leave. Great 2 weeks of competition. Anyway, I'm just a bear living a crazy life.